So I wanted to do a series on autocross, more specifically with the Evo. This should apply mostly to the 8 and 9. I've been doing it for about 10 years on and off. Fair notice, I am not a regular. I do it more for fun. I'm not as competitive as many people you see that go every weekend. Done it with many different cars, starting with a 350Z, STI, even with a beater Lexus ES300. So the beauty is that you could drive any car you want. It doesn't really matter. For those who don't know, autocross is a time competition. You're in a parking lot of cones and you just try your best to drive around it while going fast. The competition is usually pretty packed, with the times only differing between hundredths of a second. So every little mistake adds up really quickly, and it doesn't take much for you to drop 10 places. I also like autocross because it's a good introduction to car control, and it's a good basis for future motorsports, especially those looking to do high-speed track, HPDE. If you can't control a car at low speeds, well, it only gets harder when you're going triple digits. It's a low risk to the car, relatively speaking. The only consumables are really tires, gas, and time, because there's a lot of waiting around in comparison to the seat time. The crowd is usually really friendly, so don't be afraid to hop along, get rides from the top drivers, and they'll give you a lot of good tips and advice. What got me into this? I got in a car accident. Rear wheel drive car, which is a 350Z. Thought I knew how to handle it, and I didn't. So a friend told me to learn some car control basics, and I took him up on his offer, and been kind of hooked ever since. For this series, I'm focusing on the Evo because out of all the cars I had, it is a bit hard to find a bone stock one. So just wanted to go over some of the challenges some typical Evo owners might have. Many times these cars are modded for horsepower, and there's a good chance that they're still on the stock tires, the 235s, the stock Bilsteins, or the KYBs for that matter. And you probably have the stock turbo or aftermarket pushing 400 or 500 horsepower. And when you try driving on stock suspension, stock wheels, stock tires, it doesn't, you're going to have a lot of challenges. I know I did. A lot of scrubbing, a lot of understeer. So I just wanted to address how I solved some of those problems. Yeah, just two caveats. The club I'm running with is not SCCA, it's open classing. So be aware that SCCA is a lot more strict. Every little mod you do bumps you up a class. They have rule books online that explain this in a lot more detail. I used to have a cheat sheet here somewhere in the garage, but I lost it. But it tells you some of the common items like cold air intakes, brakes. I mean, they name every little thing you could think of. And the second thing is, this video is not for advanced autocrossers. This is really for someone who is looking to get into motorsports with their Evo. Just want to help those guys out because most people with this car don't really use it for what it's intended for, motorsports. So sit back and I'll go through various tips and advice that helped me throughout the years, and hopefully I can help you get started.